In third world countries, high school teachers are faced with an entrepreneurship curriculum consisting in a set of teaching material and recommendations on how to use them, imported from European practices through international cooperation. With only a few weeks of professional training and little experience in that subject, teachers are pushed to making decisions when preparing and delivering their courses. I am Joseph TIXIER, PhD candidate at EM Lyon Business School, and I am honored to present my research for receiving the Best Critical Paper on Management Learning and Education Prize, sponsored by Management Learning. Regardless of their perspective and orientations, scholars and policymakers alike argue that one of the great promise of entrepreneurship is to mitigate temporal or spatial inefficiencies and transform societies, institutions, organizations through the discovery and exploitation of opportunities, their rearrangement of resources, or through the emancipatory nature of its process itself. In light of this, international cooperation organizations have tried to alleviate poverty by introducing entrepreneurship education curriculum in the schools in third world countries. However, such entrepreneurship education curriculum generally emerge from Western countries, where entrepreneurship itself, its nature and effects in society is still highly debated. Often, research and policies describe entrepreneurship in managerial terms, or as an economic phenomenon tied with the creation of an organization, neglecting its social dimensions and the everyday interactions in it, thus doing so institutionalizing this perspective. And even if preliminary work is done with the local teachers and education actors to accommodate the curriculum to the administrative, economic and general organization of the country's education, a description of the everyday practice of teachers and their personal situation in work can be fleeting at best, or perceived from a too distant perspective of that field. In parallel, the entrepreneurship education scholarly community too called for more details on what is the teacher actually doing during and around classes. The particular context of third world countries is to be carefully considered in order for a practice to be accepted and fit the local needs, which has been addressed at organizational level. But looking at the individual level can reveal the diversity of entrepreneurship's manifestations in the informal world, in communities' struggles, or at the periphery of power. We can then enrich our vocabulary of entrepreneurship and its different categories. The distance between the context in which the curriculum was created and the context in which it is being implemented is very significant, not only in geographical terms, but also in cultural and socio-economic dimensions. Such a distance offers a revelatory case to explore difficulties, paradoxes, and alternatives that teachers face there, and learn about those faced here. One fundamental challenge with most entrepreneurship curriculum, including the one in my study, is that they often make multiple pedagogical recommendations that must be adapted to the local context by the teachers themselves. Such adaptation tends to be more challenging the more distant those contexts are. In my research, I lift the curtains of the classroom by studying how teachers in Madagascar, an island in the Indian Ocean tucked between Africa and Asia, respond to and implement a pilot entrepreneurship education designed by an international organization based in Europe. This study looks into those decisions teachers make, as they are in effect what stands between the curriculum and its target, the students. In a one academic year-long ethnographic study, my research aims at understanding how teachers respond to the introduction of a curriculum representing an institution that gets in tension with the reality of the field and relies largely on pedagogical recommendation, a task that traditionally belongs to teachers themselves. As a former consultant in public education policies, I got acquainted with individual teachers receiving a short training on the implementation of this curriculum. I thus shadowed them in their everyday life as an entrepreneurship teacher, acting at time as an apprentice or as a substitute. I shared their struggles to organize such classes, their logistical conditions, accommodations, lives, to better understand their daily practices. I hope that this short presentation will spark interest in my research, but most importantly, about the context of education in third world countries.